Imagine being in Boom, Belgium, a small town surrounded by green forests and an air of tranquility, but which, once a year, transforms into the beating heart of world electronic music. Tomorrowland, Belgium is not just a festival. It is a parallel universe that emerges in the middle of Schorre Park, where beats and nature dance together. But what if I told you that Boom has much more to offer than the stages? That, even away from the festival lights, you can still feel the magical vibe in every corner of the city? In this video, I will show you 5 incredible places to explore in Boom, from hidden trails in the park where Tomorrowland takes place, to a historic brewery that preserves the true taste of Belgium. You will walk through fairy tale castles, discover industrial secrets from the past, and relax on the banks of a river where the sunsets seem tailor-made. If you want to live the full Tomorrowland experience, inside and outside the festival, stay with me until the end, because Boom has much more to offer than you imagine. Gaasbeek Castle. Imagine yourself walking along a winding road surrounded by green hills and ancient trees. The air is fresh, the silence broken only by the singing of birds and the distant sound of the bells of a country church. Before you, as if you had stepped straight out of a medieval tale, looms the imposing silhouette of Gaasbeek Castle, one of the most fascinating castles in Belgium. Located just 15 kilometers from Brussels, Gaasbeek is not just an ancient stone building. It is a portal to another era. Its iron gates open to reveal perfectly designed gardens, flower-filled paths, and a facade of towers and walls that tell centuries of history. Crossing the bridge over the moat, you enter a world where dukes, counts, and visionaries once lived. The interior is a veritable time capsule. Halls with carved wooden ceilings, Flemish tapestries hanging on the walls, colorful stained glass windows filtering the sunlight and casting magical reflections on the stone floors. Each room holds secrets of aristocratic romances, political conspiracies, and lives that shaped the region. But Gaasbeek goes beyond the past. It pulsates with culture and art. Contemporary exhibitions, creative installations, and seasonal events fill the spaces of the castle and its surroundings, creating a striking contrast between the old and the new. And the gardens. Oh, the gardens. Spread over 50 hectares, they are an invitation to contemplation. You can lose yourself among tree-lined paths, historic vegetable gardens, sculptures, and viewpoints with spectacular views of the Flemish countryside. On a clear day, the castle gently reflects in the calm waters of the lake, a scene worthy of a movie. Gaasbeek Castle is not just a place to visit, it is a place to feel, to daydream, to imagine what life was like when the world was still ruled by kings and queens. And, at the end of the day, as the sun sets behind the towers, you might feel something different in your chest, a mixture of nostalgia and wonder, as if you had lived there, in another life. Zilvermeerhaven. You wake up early, the sky still tinged with soft shades of pink and orange. The air is pure, slightly humid, and there is a silence that only places surrounded by nature can offer. When you open the door of your cabin or tent, the first thing you see is the calm, silvery surface of the lake. Zilvermeerhaven is waking up. Located in the Mole region in the province of Antwerp, Zilvermeerhaven is a haven of peace where nature and leisure meet in perfect harmony. Its name, which means Port of the Silver Sea, lives up to the scenery. Waters so clear and bright that they seem to reflect the dreams of those who pass by. You walk slowly along the lakeshore, listening to the soft sound of the waves caressing the white sand of the artificial beach. Yes, white sand, imported to give the place an almost tropical feel, even on Belgian soil. Families start to arrive. Children run barefoot, cyclists cruise along the tree-lined paths, and the aroma of fresh coffee wafts from small cafes around the park. Zilvermeerhaven is more than just a lake. It is a small summer community, lively, vibrant, and welcoming. The small boats moored in the harbor sway gently, reflected in the water like paintings. In one corner, there are colorful pedal boats. In another, sailing enthusiasts prepare their boats to glide silently across the lake. For the more adventurous, there are kayaks and stand-up paddleboards. And for those who prefer to observe, there are relaxation areas with hammocks and sun loungers strategically positioned among the trees. During the summer, the place comes alive with open-air concerts, communal bonfires, movie nights under the stars, and the soft sound of a guitar coming from a nearby tent. But even outside the high season, Zilvermeerhaven maintains its charm. It is an invitation to introspection, to connect with nature, and to enjoy the simplicity of real moments, far from the hustle and bustle of the city. You sit by the lake. The sun is already high, and the water sparkles as if it were made of tiny crystals. A couple is rowing there. A child is laughing over there. The smell of pine trees is in the air. And in that moment, you understand. Zilvermeerhaven is not just a destination, it's a state of mind. One of those places that you visit not only with your body, but also with your soul. By the way, if you're enjoying these tips and are already imagining yourself exploring all of this before or after Tomorrowland, take advantage and subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more content coming, so you don't miss any tips to make your trip to Belgium truly epic. Medieval city of Bruges. Imagine walking along cobblestone streets where every stone seems to hold a secret. The sound of horses' hooves pulling carriages echoes softly between buildings that look like they've come straight out of a fairy tale. Surrounding you are perfectly preserved medieval facades, moss-covered stone bridges, and quiet canals that reflect centuries of history. Welcome to Bruges, Belgium's medieval jewel. The city wakes up calmly. A light mist covers the peaked rooftops, and the aroma of freshly made waffles mixes with the smell of strong coffee served in small bistros. You cross one of the dozens of bridges that cross the canals, and suddenly it seems as if time slows down. Bruges has this power. It's not just a place. It's a journey to another time. At the heart of the city is the Markt, the large central square, surrounded by colorful buildings with stepped roofs. There, you can hear the bell of the Belfort, the medieval tower that has watched over the city since the 13th century. Climbing its 366 steps is challenging, but the view from the top is rewarding with a magical panorama of the canals, Gothic churches, and towers dotted across the Flemish skyline. As you stroll along at a leisurely pace, you'll discover artisanal chocolate shops where master confectioners mold truffles like artists. On a quiet street, you'll find the Begijnhof, a former convent with white houses and quiet gardens, a true oasis of peace within the city. And on the banks of the Diver Canal, you'll see swans gliding through the water as if they belong to another world. Local legend has it that they are the guardians of Bruges, linked to its history by an ancient decree from the 15th century. As dusk falls, the city changes its tone. The golden lights of the street lamps come on, reflecting on the waters of the canals and creating a dreamlike atmosphere. You sit in a boat and glide through the calm waters, passing stone bridges, hidden courtyards, and ancient churches. Your guide tells stories of knights, merchants, and the time when Bruges was one of the richest cities in the world during the Middle Ages. And even after all this, the silent streets, the sound of the water, the architecture that looks like a painting, you realize that Bruges still holds something indescribable, a sense of constant enchantment, as if the city were alive, pulsating with history, art, and a timeless beauty that cannot be forgotten. Because Bruges is not just to be visited, Bruges is to be experienced. Breendonk Fort. The wind blows hard around Breendonk. It blows across the silent fields, past the gray concrete walls, and echoes through the dark corridors like a whisper from the past. Visiting Breendonk Fort is no ordinary stroll. It is an emotional journey, a deep dive into one of the darkest pages in human history. You approach the entrance to the fort, an imposing building surrounded by a somber moat and drawbridges. From the outside, it looks like a military castle, but inside, it bears the scars of suffering. Originally built as part of Belgium's defense line in the early 20th century, the fort was transformed during World War II into a prison camp by the Nazi regime, a place where thousands were detained, tortured, and many killed. As soon as you enter, the silence is almost deafening. The cold concrete walls seem to absorb the sound, and each step you take echoes, reminding you that men and women once walked here who did not know if they would see the next day. You walk through the narrow, damp corridors, see the barracks where the prisoners slept crammed together, and enter the tiny, dark cells where a person could barely stand up. The guide explains that the fort functioned as a temporary prison, but also as an interrogation and punishment center. Many were taken from there to extermination camps. Others did not even make it out alive. The walls still bear marks, the names scratched by prisoners, the hooks used in interrogations, and the communal bathrooms that served to humiliate and dehumanize. But amid the horror, there are also memories of resistance and courage. Some rooms display documents, photos, and accounts of survivors. They are stories of ordinary people, teachers, students, workers, who, even under the worst conditions, tried to maintain their dignity, their humanity, their hope. Outside, the cloudy sky seems to weigh down the scene. The grass growing around the fort contrasts with the rigidity of the concrete, as if nature were trying to soothe the pains of the past. In the central courtyard, where prisoners were lined up for daily counts and public punishments, the emptiness is almost palpable. At the end of the visit, you don't leave feeling lighthearted, you leave feeling thoughtful. Fort Breendonk was not built to entertain, but to remind you, to make you never forget what can happen when intolerance, hatred, and authoritarianism take power. It is a place that confronts you, moves you, and transforms you, because some memories of the past cannot be erased. They need to be seen, felt, and remembered so that they never happen again. Duvel Brewery. Imagine a sunny morning on the green hills of Breendonk, in the heart of Belgium. The fresh air carries with it a subtle aroma of roasted barley, and just ahead, a place that is almost sacred to lovers of good beer appears, the legendary Duvel Brewery. Founded in 1871, Duvel is not just a brewery. It is a temple of flavor, tradition, and Belgian alchemy. As soon as you enter the complex, you feel that you are about to live an experience that goes far beyond simply having a drink. It is like entering a universe where every bubble, every aromatic note, every detail on the label has a story to tell. The tour begins with a walk through modern corridors that preserve the old charm of the factory. An enthusiastic guide, full of stories, begins by explaining the production process of the iconic Duvel Golden Ale, a clear, potent, and intensely aromatic beer. You see the fermentation tanks glowing in the natural light, hear the bubbling sound of the liquid coming to life, and feel the subtle warmth of the rooms where the magic of yeast happens. But the highlight is yet to come. The tasting room. An elegant, welcoming space with large windows that overlook the green fields surrounding the brewery. On the wooden tables, perfect glasses await you, each with a different label from the Duvel line. The Classic, the Triple Hop, the Duvel 666, each with its own personality, each sip a new discovery. You raise the glass of the traditional Duvel. The golden liquid shines like liquid gold, and the dense foam forms an impeccable head. At the first sip, the balanced bitterness, the light fruity touch, and the intense carbonation explode on the palate. It is refreshing, complex, intense, and surprisingly light for a beer with over 8% alcohol content. As you sip, the guide tells you about the origins of the name Duvel, which in Flemish means devil, a reference to the power and intensity of the drink. And yes, after a few sips, you'll understand why. The experience ends with the possibility of taking a few bottles home, straight from the source. But more than just beer, you'll take away a story, a connection with Belgian culture, and that magical feeling of having experienced something authentic, tasty, and unforgettable. Tasting a Duvel there, where it all began, is like listening to a symphony in the theater where it was composed. It's more than just a drink. It's a celebration of life, tradition, and the small pleasures that Belgium knows how to offer like no one else. And there you have it. Now you know. Tomorrowland may be the main reason for your trip, but Belgium, especially the Boom region and its surroundings, has incredible experiences far beyond the stages. From historic forts that echo deep stories to castles that seem to have come straight out of a fairy tale, magical trails at Schorre, and breweries that deliver true Belgian flavor. Every corner has something unique to offer. And the best part? All of this happens just a few steps away from the most epic festival on the planet. If you enjoyed this tour and want more tips to make your trip to Tomorrowland even more unforgettable, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, like it, and comment on which of these places you won't miss. Because experiencing Tomorrowland is also about discovering the world around it. See you in the next video and on the next adventure.